They say the mind knows when something isn't right. Long before the body catches up, long before the police respond, long before anyone believes you, the fear sets in. It starts slow. A whisper, a feeling that someone's watching, then a noise, a shadow, a note. And by the time it's undeniable, it's already too late. This is not a ghost story. There are no jump scares. There are no flickering lights or haunted mirrors. Just a woman, alone, telling the world someone is trying to kill her, and no one believes her. Her name was Cindy James. And if you lived in Richmond, British Columbia during the 1980s, you couldn't miss her name in the headlines. For almost a decade, she was a woman stalked by something or someone. She called the police. She documented everything. She kept a diary. She recorded the phone calls. She took pictures of the aftermath. She survived the attacks until the last one. And even after she was found dead, drugged, strangled, and tied up like a horror scene come to life, the official story, suicide. Suicide. A woman who had been harassed for 7 years, who told everyone she was in danger and was ignored. The case has never been solved, but some cases don't just go cold. They stay alive, they breathe, they follow us home. This is one of them. Cindy James was 44 years old when her body was found on June 8, 1989. But this didn't begin there. To understand what happened, to understand the fear, you have to go back to 1982. Cindy was a nurse, smart, independent, reserved. Some would say fragile, but only in the way that people who've seen too much often are. She had recently separated from her husband, a respected psychiatrist named Dr. Roy Makepeace. Roy Makepeace. They'd been together for over a decade, and in the months after the separation, Cindy's life began to change. It started with phone calls, heavy breathing, threats and whispers, late at night, always from a different number. Sometimes there was no voice at all, just silence. Then came the notes. They weren't just left in her mailbox. They were tucked under her windshield wipers, taped to her front door, mailed in envelopes with cut-out letters like a ransom film. You're going to die. And Cindy did what she was supposed to do. She called the police over and over again. They came, they listened. They took notes, but they didn't find anything. No fingerprints, no suspects, no audio evidence. She installed security lights. They were smashed. She got a dog. The dog was found nearly strangled in the backyard. Still, the police had no leads. In 1983, Cindy was found barely conscious in her home. She had been attacked. A nylon stocking wrapped tightly around her neck. She had scratches and bruises on her body. She had no memory of the attack. But this wasn't the last time it happened. Over the next few years, the pattern escalated. More attacks, more threats, more police reports, more dead ends. Each time, Cindy's fear grew. Each time, the police became colder, more skeptical. They began to ask if Cindy was doing this to herself. Imagine being attacked and then questioned as if you staged it. Imagine being told your fear is fake, that your injuries aren't real, that your terror is a performance. And imagine knowing you're being watched the entire time. Cindy told friends she feared for her life. She kept a journal. She wrote about the stalking, the voices, the notes, the shadows. She changed her name. She moved houses. She painted her car. She hired a private investigator. And still, the harassment continued. Sometimes she'd be found wandering, disoriented, drugged. One time she was discovered in a ditch, semi-conscious, with a stocking around her neck again. Another time her hand was slashed. Blood, no weapon, no witnesses, no suspects, no answers. Some of the police believed she had a psychological disorder. Others quietly suggested she was looking for attention. But the evidence kept piling, and the truth stayed blurry. Years passed, and by 1988, Cindy had reported over 100 incidents. Think about that. 100 separate reports. Attacks, break-ins, threats, injuries, and in every case, no arrest, no resolution, no peace. But she didn't give up. Cindy began recording everything. She took photos, saved letters, wrote daily updates. She even wrote in her journal, "I'm scared, but if anything happens to me," it wasn't suicide. She was telling us, begging us, but the system didn't believe her. On May 25th, 1989, everything changed. Cindy left her house to run errands. She deposited a paycheck, bought groceries, visited a pharmacy. Normal day, until she disappeared. For 2 weeks, no one saw her. Posters went up, friends searched. Her car was found, abandoned. Inside were groceries and a wrapped gift. On the car seat was blood and the car keys. Underneath it, that was all. Until June 8th, 2 construction workers walking past an abandoned house saw something strange near the side yard. A body, shoes off, hands tied behind the back, feet bound, nylon stocking wrapped around the neck. It was around the neck. It was Cindy, dead. The autopsy revealed multiple drugs in her system: morphine, fluthane, and anesthetic. Sedatives. Enough to kill, but the strangulation marks were real. And the knots used to tie her limbs, not only intricate, but impossible to self-bind, according to forensic analysts. And yet, the ruling? Suicide. Let that settle. A woman is drugged, strangled, tied up, shoes removed, no drugs or tools nearby, body hidden, and it's called suicide. Her family was devastated. Friends refused to believe it. Her private investigator insisted she was murdered. But the police, they closed the case. No suspects, no further investigation, and no answers. But what if Cindy was telling the truth the entire time? What if the system failed her? What if the killer was still out there?